pure American patriotism. And the part where they're turning Steve Rogers into Captain America, when they're giving him the super soldier serum,
right?
That shit it kind of scared me, man. Cause they shut those doors on him. He's in there. That big light came on, and it looked like a coffin they put him in.
Yeah,
and that light flash, you heard him in there.
He's like, get me the fuck out of here.
And all them talking about, open that shit, let him out.
Shut it down!
Kills the reactor, Mr. Stark! Turn it off! Kill it! Kills the reactor! No! Don't! I can do this! Mr. Stark?
Stephen? Son of a did it. I did it.
Yeah. I think we did it.
How'd you feel?
Taller.
We had mentioned this in the in our preview, but I really am wondering right now, like, how many soldiers did they fuck up on before? Like, just mess up.
Yeah, how many of those soldiers came out looking like burnt toast?
Yeah. just falling apart and shit, man.
Shit.
I love that origin story, man. I love this origin story about, this underdog. I mean, this is the kid that, got beat up every day. He's in his neighborhood. He's going down the street talking about, I got beat up in that alley. I got beat up in that doorway. I got beat up in that parking lot. I got beat up on that roof by that tree. I think that dog beat me up one time.
I fell asleep and I got my ass whooped.
I don't even know how that happened. That old lady beat me up one time. Girls don't even want him. He's talking about never had a date. It's like, and it's just so cool to see this kind of underdog story about this guy who has, is true at heart, courageous, become like one of the greatest superheroes out there.
And that's the thing that fuels the movie. Honestly, it's the story. It is the story of Steve Rogers. I mean, it's about this kid's determination to be all he can be, and the movie does a great job of really showing you like the human side of this kid who just wants to do the best for his country. And I mean, wow. And Chris Evans, he nailed it. He really did.
Well, yeah, Chris Evans, and he almost did that part of playing skinny Steve Rogers too well, and that's something I'm going to get into a little bit later. But this is there was a lot of things that this movie went through before it became what it is now. Because at one time, a little interesting fact here. At one time, they were talking about having two other directors who went on to direct two other Marvel movies, direct this film. Louis Leterrier, I think, he was the guy
who did the Hulk, the second Hulk movie.
Yeah, the reboot, remake, whatever the fuck Marvel was doing with
Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, the Incredible Hulk. And then Jon Favreau was going to direct this.
Damn.
And before he went on to direct Iron Man and Iron Man 2. Now, the thing that they wanted to do for a while was make this a Captain America story where he was, kind of what they did with Thor, where it was half of it was going to be in World War II and the other half was going to be in the modern times. And Jon Favreau wanted to actually make it into a comedy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
okay,
it was going to be kind of like a Back to the Future type thing.
Did nobody tell them that they already did that back in 1991?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the worst comedy of all time.
It didn't work then, yeah. So what worked for this movie is that they made the decision, first of all, because it was going to be a standalone film. Now, everybody knows by now that they're working up to including all these recent Marvel characters for their upcoming superhero ensemble, the Avengers.
Yeah, and if you don't know that, you're the biggest dumbass on the earth right now.
Yeah.
They've only shoved that shit down your throat with every goddamn Marvel movie.
Yeah.
To this, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shit. You go to the concession stand. Can I have a hot dog? No, you can have some Avengers.
Yeah.
Can I have a soda? You can have a couple of Avengers.
Yeah. And
Stan Lee's up there.
Yeah.
You can have Avengers.
Yeah. And it's fucking Samuel L. Jackson fucking serving it to you. He's like, you're not the only one who wants a hot dog around here.
You ain't the only one who had Avengers shoved up their ass today. Yeah. I'm going to shove it up your ass too. No, he's like, God damn, I just want some soda. You can have some Avengers.
Yeah.
No, and so they really are pushing this Avengers thing right here. They did the right thing by making this a period piece, making it like stay for the majority of the movie within World War II.
Right, because it's different from any other comic book movie. I mean, every other comic book movie is usually modern. It's a modern representation of that.
Oh yeah.
Where a lot of these comic book characters that were created in the 40s or 50s. I mean, sometimes they work better in their elements when they were created. My only other complaint, if I really had one right now, was the fact that I honestly was really looking forward to seeing Captain America beat the shit out of some Nazi ass. And shockingly, he doesn't.
Yeah, that's one of the things that the movie is kind of light. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. Your villain in the movie is the Red Skull. Hugo Weaving plays Johann Schmidt. He's the head of Hitler's, I guess, the weapons division.
Yeah, his secret weapons division that's all into the whole occult thing that
that's what
Hitler's into, but this guy's really into it.
Yeah, he is, and that's what the Red Skulls told him. He's like, hey, look, man, you fucking around with them Jews and everything. I'm not after Jews. No. I'm after the gods.
I want the ultimate power.
Yeah, he pretty much just says, you know what? Fuck Hitler.
Yeah, who Hitler? Who?
Yeah, and then he got the Nazis. I got something different. He started his own division called Hydra, and Hydra is
it's a division of Cobra, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Every time they showed the Red Skull, I was like, Cobra. And so the Red Skull, and he's called the Red Skull because he does find in his thirst for power, it kind of physically alters him too. It has side effects that kind of burns his skin off. Yeah. He's after like a higher energy source now. He's like, to hell with this super soldier stuff. I'm after this relic of the gods that's going to like give me the ultimate power of energy and help me with world domination. I think the Red Skull itself with the makeup effects and whatnot, I was like, that is great. Hugo Weaving.
It works.
Yeah, it looks, first of all, the makeup effects looks like it comes right out of the comics. They do an amazing job with that. And Hugo Weaving does a cool performance. He's what I call cool evil. Now, say what you will about Nazis, because I hate a Nazi as much as anybody else. But Nazis come in with those cool leather jackets and those village people biker hats, and they always come in and they don't, they know that they're scary and intimidating, and they come in and just like, would you tell me what I'm looking for?
I'm looking for some nice leather.
Yeah. And
point me in the direction of the blackest leather you have here at the Hot Topics.
I'm looking for the gay shop with the black leather. Could you tell me what to find out or I will shoot you? No, he comes in, he's like, he's the kind of guy that Hugo Weaving plays is great. He comes in, he's like, well, I'm looking for this cube thing, and if it wasn't so important, then you wouldn't be trying to hide it, would you now? No, and you wouldn't. And then he like, and then the moment you turn your back, he's like, bam, and it's like, I like the way he's playing this character. I like it, but I just didn't find that character was as intimidating as
he probably should have been.
As he should have been.
No, you're right. And the thing is, at least I didn't feel like they gave him enough screen time, honestly. Like, whenever he did show up, he popped up, he was good, but he'd be gone in a moment,
You have all these people who have their nemesis. Batman has the Joker. Superman has
Lex Luthor.
And you can go on and on. They have the nemesis, and you can feel the antagonism between the hero and their arch villain. But here, it's just, I was waiting for the moment where Captain America would come in, because throughout the film, it gets a little personal between the Red Skull and Captain America. And I never got the feeling that those two ever had like true beef. I never got the feeling that Captain America at one point ever got pissed enough to come in and beat the shit out of the Red Skull.
Yeah. They could have done a lot more with this to make the conflict between those two more interesting.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They did the typical scene where that you'd expect from an action adventure film of this movie, almost like an Indiana Jones type feel to it in a way.
And they do some
how they portray the villain in this. Yeah.
And they do a few nods to Indiana Jones and Star Wars in this film. So it is again trying to get back to the old fashioned blockbuster. And that's the good thing about this film. It does.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, actually, it's more fun.
It's more fun than the last Indiana Jones movie. Actually,
yeah, that's true. No, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, it's a little light, and the villains I don't really feel like are that intimidating. I just feel like they serve their purpose. They give this movie a sense of adventure, and they do their job as much as they're required to, but not going up beyond that. I just don't get the real emotion I want behind that. Chris Evans in the film, I think he did a much better performance as skinny Steve Rogers than he did when he became Captain America, because when he was Skinny Steve Rogers, he was a character. He was somebody you felt for. He was somebody you connected with. When he became Captain America, he kind of became that bland golden boy that just said a bunch of patriotic things, did the right thing, and there wasn't any real conflict with that character.
Yeah, I want to say it's one of those situations where it's like the character, at least the, I guess you would call like his Clark Kent, is a lot more interesting than his actual Superman. But at least for me, it didn't bother me at all.
It didn't bother me because Chris Evans did a good job.
He did. I mean, he carried this movie. I have to say, he really did carry this movie because the biggest chunk of this movie is Steve Rogers. I mean, it is a Steve Rogers.
Did you think he carried the movie? See,
I honestly thought he did.
See,
yeah.
I thought he carried half of the movie. I thought he carried the half that we're talking about when he became